So this video is a long time overdue. I had no idea that my Montel Williams reunion video had been viewed that many times, or just really that many times a day. I think the counter says it's about 3,000 times a day that that video is watched. So I just really want to say thank you for everybody who's watched it. It really means a lot to me. It was a really big part of my life and a really big turning point in my life. So thank you very much. So I went through some of the comments and I looked at all the questions and I thought, you know what, I should do a video about the video because I don't think I've ever really talked about what it was like for me being on the show at that time. So how I got to Montel was I'd been looking for my biological family for quite some time, and I just hit a roadblock. And in those days when you're at home and you're watching daytime television, that was what it was about, was all these talk shows. And they always had something at the end like, well, if your sister is also your mom, or if you're addicted to line dancing, call this number. And then one day it just happened to be, if you're looking for your biological family, give us a call. So of course my ears perked up and got my attention, and well, I gave them a call. I had nothing to lose at that point, and you know, we're talking about before the internet, before all this kind of stuff. So I was literally like going through phone books and driving around and knocking on doors to do research. So for me, this was like, it was a heaven sent. So I called the show and they called me back and put me in touch with one of their producers. And I basically just gave them all the stuff that I had, all my research, everything I could possibly find. I was like, look, this is it. Then they called me back and they said, you know what, it's really unfortunate, I hate to say this, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to reunite you with your mom. But we still want you to come on the show to talk about being adopted and being interracial. And I said, okay, totally, yeah, get to go to New York, that's fun. And I got to bring a girlfriend with me, so that was fun too. So we fly into New York, and I bought like this whole outfit. At the time I was working at Home Depot, and I was also an intern at radio station KYLD 94.9 in San Francisco. And so I took my little money, and I remember I think I went to Nordstrom's and I bought this little outfit that I thought was like TV outfit. When we were at the W, I met a really, really big celebrity who I'm not going to say who, but if you ever see me out on the street and you remember this question, I just might tell you because it's a good story. So Montel comes into my green room, knocks on the door, comes in, and he just simply asks, which one of you is Tameka? And I say, I am. And he goes, you're Tameka? And I said, yeah. And he goes, hold on 1 second. And then he leaves, and he comes back a second time. Just to make sure that he was in the right room. And he was like, so I just want to double check, you're Tameka, you're my next guest on the show. And I said, yeah. And he goes, okay. And he leaves again, and he comes back a third time, and the third time he brought his agent, Melanie McLaughlin, with him. And he said, I don't know what you're doing now, but you need to be on camera. So I'm gonna let you talk to Melanie, and maybe you guys can connect. And we exchanged information. I never did connect with her. And right after that, they took me to behind the stage. So it was really, really exciting. And when I was standing there behind the stage, it was crazy because that's when they played the video of Mary Brown. And that was actually my first time seeing that video ever, which made that experience a little bit more intense. Yeah, that was my first time watching that, and I was just in shock. And then it was also weird for me because, you know, I didn't really grow up with baby pictures or home videos or any of that kind of stuff. So it was also the first time I'd really been able to see me little, and I thought that was crazy. It was really wild. And then right after the video was done, they just kind of pushed me up into set, and I think that's why when I'm walking out onto the set, I am actually holding like a tissue or something, and I'm like trying not to cry, and that's just because the video was really emotional. So I sit down in the chair, and I don't know that I'm sitting next to my siblings, and we go through all these questions, and then Montel does the reveal, and I hate, like, I do like this cry or something. I can't stand that sound. Yeah. So I do the little cry thing, and I give them a hug, and we stare at each other. Then Montel says to me, I know you really wanted to meet your biological mom, and maybe after we do that for you, and this always got my attention, he says, you can talk to one of our psychiatrists backstage. And then I just remember thinking in that little brief moment, why would I need to talk to a psychiatrist after meeting my biological mother? I always thought that was interesting, but good on them for looking out, because you never know, that's a lot to take in. So then my mom comes out, and I just remember feeling like I wanted to give her a handshake more than a hug, because I felt like I had a mom, and I have a mom that raised me, so it was more just like meeting this lady that gave birth to me in a way. But we ended up giving each other a hug, and that was different. It was weird. And after the show, I really didn't hang out with her much. It was just interesting. It was interesting because at that point, I had done so much research, and I learned so much about her that she probably doesn't or didn't at the time think that I knew. So it was kind of like anything that she said to me in that moment backstage at the show, I just felt wasn't true, because I knew so much already. I did end up hanging out with my sisters after the show. We roamed around the city, got dinner. It was pretty awesome. And then went back to California, and when we all went home, I definitely made it out to where they live and spent a weekend or so with them, and it was really interesting. You know, without like censoring myself too much or trying to be too PC, I don't talk to my older sister. That's one of everyone's biggest question is, are you guys still in touch? So at the end of the day, and after visiting with them and spending time with them when we got back home, I decided for myself at that age that my older sister maybe wasn't somebody that I need to be hanging out with. We just took different paths in life, and at that time I was really, really young and was just newly inspired by all this change and growth, and I kind of just wanted to protect that. So it was great that I got to spend the time with her that I did, and I feel like I know her and she knows me, and I got to meet her girl. She has 2 daughters, and yeah, we just kind of went our separate ways, and that's okay. Now, my younger sister, Mika, I talk to all the time, and I try to visit her when I can, and I know she's watching this, and she's like, it's not enough. And it's true, it's not. I have 2 nephews that I love and adore, and they're such good boys. And I just actually went to my older nephew's birthday party, and I saw my biological mom. So she was there. Since the show, I probably only have seen her a handful of times, maybe 4 or 5. And I am just not that close with her. I still feel kind of awkward. But at the same time, through my research and learning, you know, some of the decisions that she made, I eventually started to understand, because I learned about her trauma and the things that she went through. So a lot of her decisions started to make a bit more sense, but I'm still not really ready to like have her in my life like that. When I saw her at the birthday party, I did, however, get like a new respect, because basically she's like, I don't know, she's like the tweaked out old grandma that nobody really wants around, and I'm just keeping it real. And I have a new respect for her, because although she's kind of treated like that, and people may talk smack about her when she shows up, and they roll their eyes and all this and that, she still shows up to her grandkids' parties because she wants to be in their life. And I think that's part of her, you know, she went through whatever she went through, and now she's trying to do better. And so for me personally, I wouldn't want to show up anywhere that I knew that I wasn't wanted or cared for. But she does that every day when she goes to see her grandkids, and she goes to the parties and goes to the family functions. So kudos to her, man. So out of everybody on the show, I really only keep in contact with my younger sister. And but I did get that additional relationship with my niece, which was kind of cool. And I think my niece actually found me on Instagram. I think she found me on Instagram. Yes. So anyway. So I definitely have some new connections thanks to the show, and I've always wanted to say thanks to Montel, because without all this, none of this would have happened, and the show really, really did make some massive changes for me. In fact, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I was on the show, I was packed and driving down to LA, because I think that I knew working at the radio station that I always wanted to work in entertainment, and I think that little nudge, that little encouragement from Montel really was perfect time, perfect place, perfect person. And definitely it pushed me. Because I think after meeting my mom too, it was one of those things where it's, you know, it sounds really cliche, but when I met her, I realized for the first time, I don't know, that the decisions that you make in your life change the direction of your life, and I needed to take more control of that. And I did. So thanks, Montel. You really, seriously, honestly, for real, changed my life. So overall, my experience on the Montel Williams show was good. It was good. I learned a lot. I got a lot of closure. Got to meet family and make connections. So yeah, the other question I get asked a lot about the video is my ethnic makeup, and at the end of the day, the answer that I gave on the show is just like a collective of hearsay and meeting people and research that I had done. But at the end of the day, I ended up going to one of these online services and doing one of those DNA swabs. Come to find out, I'm 25% black and 75% white, and it looks like my dad's lineage. When you look at my DNA and the history and stuff I'm tracking and doing, it looks like they are coming from Louisiana. So most likely my dad is Creole or mixed. And I have a pretty good idea who he is. I think I do. I've tested a lot of people. This is going downhill real quick. But I think I know who he is. And I did a test with him, and it came back negative, but I don't know, something in my gut is telling me it's him, so I'm hoping to retest. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope I've touched base on some of the questions you guys have. You know who I keep in contact with and who I don't, the overall experience of the show. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can share with you. I don't know, if you can think of anything else, let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to get back to you and answer some of these questions. Are you gonna come sit with me? You have to now. I feel like we're gonna end every video like this, huh? So hopefully I answered all your questions, or at least touch base on them a little bit. If I didn't, feel free to comment below or question me below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. And again, just thank you for watching, and thanks for keeping my Montel reunion show alive. It means a lot to me. I'll talk to you guys soon.